Just a little recap from the last game, and then we'll move on. Of course, disappointing. Team that we played a lot better a year before. Sometimes we just don't have it for whatever reason. Didn't play well. Started off okay, but made too many mistakes. It hurts when you lose your quarterback. Going into the second period, it's a good game. That big run that they had really kind of snowballed after that. Too many missed tackles and things like that. So not enough good things to really talk about in that game, which you can't wait to get to the next week, of course, after something like that happens. There's a lot of things going on here this week. Whenever you have a chance to honor, one of the all-time greats to play the game, just not, what he did for the University of Illinois, but just for football in general. So to see a statue of Dick Butkus there makes sense, seems right. And to dedicate our building officially. Of course, we've been in it for a while. It's been an awful lot to our program now and, of course, going forward. But then after you go through all of that, we have a football game coming up this week. And playing, Michigan in itself kind of tells you, what's at stake. A program with a lot of tradition. Haven't played them for a couple of years, but and we didn't play them well the last time. But hopefully we're better suited to play them this week. Of course, offensively they've changed on what they've traditionally done, more spread attack. Again, it's a little different look, on what you see from University of Michigan right now. And defensively, they're just one of the best defenses in the country. Play an aggressive form of ball. So it'll be a big challenge for us. Injury-wise, we had a few injuries from the game. We'll get to practice to see exactly where we are. Of course, I'm not going to talk about injuries until, of course, the game gets here. Take your question.
You went through a lot of adversity in the spring with Bobby's injury, and now you're kind of in another state of it now. How do you feel like this team can bounce back from, and is it ready to approach this game after?
What are we going through now? Help me out a little bit now.
Losing streaks of adversity.
Okay, that's a lot different than what we went through with Bobby. It was a totally different thing. Football-wise, that's a part of it. You're going to lose some games that you expect to win. There's disappointment there, but you get a chance to come back strong, and that's where we are. As you look at our season, it's Game 5, right? So it's, we're behind going in at the half. That's all we are. Most games are won in the second half, in the fourth period of the game. So much football left to go. By saying that, I think you watch the video, you can kind of see what we need to do. But we need to do that out on the football field. We've got to make more plays than we've made. So we'll get through it.
How do you think Matt Robinson did when he came in?
I think he did okay for a backup quarterback coming into a game in a tough situation. I think we could have helped Matt with some of the passes that we dropped. Thought the protection was fairly well most of the time. When you're in a situation like that, you need to be able to rally around the running game. When able to really establish that, and as I mentioned, when we get an opportunity to pass the ball, we need to be able to complete the catch.
Lovie, it looked like Minnesota ran maybe some RPOs. How have you seen that play maybe come to light and evolve in your time as a coach?
Well, of course, there used to be a time when it wasn't a part of it. But now it's been around for a while. RPOs have. Most college offenses run some form of that. And it can be tough. Of course, we do. And, it's enough when you're just defending the pass and or defending the run. And a formation kind of tells you that. You kind of know it before the snap was getting ready to happen. But, now with spread offense, it's a little bit different. Of course, it's a run until you pass, until the pass comes off of it. So it just keeps you honest as much as anything. It gives you favorable matchups, though, because you have to be able to stop the run, and that leaves you one-on-one, of course, on the outside.
So no official update on Brandon or Isaiah?
I think getting better. And, we play Saturday, and really, okay, for the record, we wouldn't go with injuries anyway. Let's start with that. But there hadn't been enough time to really, You know, it's always concerning when a player doesn't finish a game. So you start with that. Isaiah missed last week, didn't make the trip, all of that. But we've had guys heal up, you know, quickly. Neither one has a season-ending injury or anything like that. So we're hopeful. That's why we need to get to tomorrow. And then, of course, we have all this week. A lot of things can happen. We'll need everyone, of course, to be able to beat a team like Michigan.
Seems like defending the pass, a lot of teams attack you down the seam in the middle of the field. Just where maybe corrections that need to be made to just slow that down.
I wouldn't say that necessarily. I think teams attack you always, you know, all over the field. You run RPO, you have one-on-ones outside, you're going to see teams attack out there. Eventually, no matter where it is, you're going to have a receiver in an area with a defender there. You need to be able to make a play. Kind of simple as that.
Coach, do you take solace in the idea that you're able to get 2 defensive scores, turnovers like we normally do, and do you feel like that's contagious?
Well, I hope it's contagious, and we haven't scored in so long around here defensively, and that's one of our main. We start every game, of course, wanting to do that. You have to acknowledge that, and those were both big plays for Mike linebacker to score, intercept the ball, and to get it in the end zone. That put us off. You know, you go on the road, that's the way you want to start a game. And Jake Hansen has made play after play throughout the year. Great pass rush. And then when you get to the ball carrier, get to a quarterback to think about not, oh, I made it, sack, but to get the football out also. So, yes, you like that, but it's so much more than that. When you play the run, we don't play the run well, and you give up big plays, it kind of offsets some of the positives that come from that.
Well, you mentioned tackling is an issue. I know you don't tackle that much in practice, and we've seen. Which is your philosophy on teaching tackling and how you get better at it?
I don't quite know what's my philosophy on teaching. Get them down. I mean, it's kind of simple as that. Get as many guys around the ball as possible. I think as a coach, what you look at is that do you have guys in a position to make a play, to make a tackle? Of course, there's technique involved. Got to know where your help is, you know, where your leverage is. And we've been in some situations, a lot of situations where we have had guys, and it's disappointing when we don't finish the tackle. So we'll continue to get guys around there, and then hopefully we'll wrap up more and have better results.
Do you feel like this is a big week of practice for Matt Robinson? Normally when you know your starter, the backups don't usually get a whole lot of even practice reps. It seems like he might get a little bit more this week.
I think when you finish a game, yes, and until we tell him otherwise, I mean, last time we played, Matt was behind center. So does that, you know, give you more motivation? Each week we tell our backups to expect if the guy above me goes down first snap, am I ready to go? So you have to prepare yourself that way. And a lot of it will be with mental reps. But I would say, yes, there's a little bit different approach that Matt is thinking about right now. And others, of course, after you had a chance to play. But, of course, it starts with the quarterback. And when you do move to your next option at quarterback position, others have to even pick up their game more. And that's what I was disappointed in as much as anything.
Vidarian Love's personally had a lot of change in his life recently.
He has.
How have you seen him mature just both on and off the field in the last year?
Well, and a lot of changes I might add, you know, that are all positive, you know. I just think when you have a family, there's more responsibility. You look at things a lot differently then when it's just not about you that you feel responsible for. It's a bigger picture. But if you know Vidarian Lowe, that's the kind of guy. He shows up every day. Before he had other responsibility, other obligation, he shows up every day. You know what you're going to get out of him. Just great guy to have in your program, on your team, great teammate, all of that. He's an outstanding father. I could talk about him an awful lot. Really believe in him. He's a good football player.
When he got on the field, it got to start too. Like, what has he kind of been doing behind the scenes? We've seen the tackles on the punt coverage, but what else has he done to get on the field?
Well, as you mentioned, you've seen his play on the punt, and that takes an awful lot. If, as a player, young player, you're getting a minimum amount of reps, and you do well, you're going to get more. That's our approach. That's what has happened with him. And I like the way he competed his first time out. He's a young player, has a long ways to go, but I like, again, his future. I like everything that he brings to the table.
His upside could be in a couple years.
It'll be fun watching. Of course, he's, you know, you just look at him physically. You can't wait to see him develop his body more, which he will do with time, but just a true freshman. Got here a little bit later than everyone else, but has taken, you know, giant steps quickly.
What would you just attribute the big plays the defense maybe giving up this year? Like you were talking about maybe not finishing play, even though you're in position, or has there been maybe a disconnect between practice that week and then what happens on Saturday?
We missed practice. We missed tackles. I mean, most of the big plays you look at. My time in football, I say most of the big plays. Most of the time the ball's not going over your head. That happens occasionally. Occasionally, though, most of the time, though, you have an opportunity to make a tackle to keep that to a minimum, and that's been our biggest problem we've had.
Game that you struggled on third down conversions defensively. You guys improved upon that a little bit against Minnesota. Did you guys make adjustments during the bye week?
Oh, you make adjustments throughout. You know, we would have to. I think we only had like 10 third down situations this past week. In ideal third downs, what you would like to the situation you would like to be in, of course, is to have third and longer yardage situations. That helps, you know, those statistics a lot, and we had some of those this past week. But it's a money down, just like a takeaway. There's a big emphasis that's placed on it. Again, we played a little bit better in that situation this past week. We need to do that this week.
Lovie, back-to-back weeks, games giving up big rushing yard totals. Do you attribute that mostly to tackling as well, or is there other stuff at play there?
Yes, I've talked about tackling pretty. Yes, I do. Don't know what else to tell you. You say big play. How do big plays happen? Missed tackles. We've had too many missed tackles. We'll continue to work on them. Yes.
See, you guys both coach in the NFL. You coach each other once here. Is there something that is usually about a Jim Harbaugh team? Do you have an identity that you've seen as a coach?
Yeah, I think everybody has a history on what they believe in. I think on what we've known about him in the past is what we see now is different. But, you know, people change, you know, for whatever reason. Again, offensively, on what we see, it's a spread attack. Traditionally, they've been old school Big Ten type offensive play. Lead blocker, fullback, leads, power game. They haven't been that for the most part. Situational football has seen a little. We've seen a little of that, but for the most part, it's a different way that they're attacking football offensively.
Has your offense changed at all when someone like Matt is in there, maybe a little more mobile? How does it change when it's him versus maybe Brandon?
Well, I think exactly what you said. I mean, if you have a mobile quarterback, you're more apt to run him more, and some certain plays, of course, that are more suited. When you're running an option with a guy that can't really beat you as a quarterback running, it's a little bit different mindset for a defense than when you have a guy that can really turn into another running back that can beat you quickly on any given play. So, yes, I do think offenses change when you have a guy that's capable of making big plays running football.
As strong as your run game was last season, have you seen anything in particular this year where maybe that part of the offense just hasn't gotten going as well as it did?
Well, I'll just say that we need, it's a good point, we need to get back to our run more. I think you always say that as a general rule. We're a running football team. Running football team needs to be able to run the football better. We haven't been able to run it as well. So far, we haven't been able to run the football as well as we will going forward, is how I would answer that.
Something on film that Big Ten defenses are doing? Because I think last two Big Ten teams held you under 300 yards. Didn't happen often last year.
No, same, for the most part, same defenses we played the year before. And guys, when you get different results, it's not like people are changing their approach defensively. We don't change. Most people don't change, offensively or defensively. It's about who executes. It's just as simple as that on that given day, and that's what's been happening. We haven't executed as well as we need to. Offensively or defensively. Punt game, Blake Hayes has been executing his responsibility fairly well, to say the least.
Brandon Peters knows your opponent Saturday pretty well. Do you guys tap into that knowledge? Do you talk to him about that a lot? Or?
I think you use every advantage that you can possibly get, but video also says that. And, you know, you're not going to know what a team is going to do until the ball is snapped. Brandon can't help on that, so won't be able to help much. You know, most of his time is you know, put into remembering, of course, what all he knows about their defense getting ready to play this week.
Statue outside your offices here soon. What's that mean for you to have Dick here and to unveil that? It's part of your program.
I mean, Dick's presence is here anyway. Of course, you go into the stadium, you see the number up at the top. That gets your attention if you don't know it. But I think most people associate it with Illinois football players. Every one of our players, of course, know who Dick Buckets is. And but sometimes it's one thing to know him and see the number, see the statue. He'll be here this week. And as we talk about tackling better and playing better defense, I think it helps you a little bit. If you need a little bit more motivation, I know Dick Buckets can give you that. He's going to speak with the team this week also, so I know he's going to pump the guys up and get them ready to play best he can.
Michigan's obviously one of the blue blood programs in the country. Is there a bigger sense to getting them in your place with a chance to knock off Goliath and anything like that?
Well, I think you make a good point that when you're disappointed and you play a little bit, where would you like to, and you're ready, you're going to play another game, where would you like to play? At home. Yeah, there's comfort in coming back home, get a chance to play. I talked about the things going on here this weekend, but in front of our home crowd, in front of our fans. Last time we played here, we had another traditional program. Nebraska came in here. Our fans were outstanding. I know we're going to get the same thing this week. Yes, the guys are excited about this 2-game homestand that we have coming up, starting, of course, this weekend.
Brandon Peters had been talking about this game, playing in his old school. Again, I assume he's going to be very disappointed he's not playing. You guys talk about that much here?
Well, I just know that he knew that we were on the schedule, that Michigan was on the schedule when he decided to come here. Nothing has changed. It's Michigan week now, so I know he's pumped up, and of course, hoping he'll be ready to go this week. Hope that'll be the case.
Turn on the film and watch Michigan's defense. Is there an appreciation for somebody like you with so much defensive background that they just do things?
Yeah, I can't wait till the day when we're talking about our defense like that. But Michigan is playing outstanding. You know, probably except for one game this year, they played outstanding football, and it's our challenge to meet that. Because I look at it when you go into any game, it's defense versus defense, outplaying their defense. So that's the goal of our defense, to outplay theirs. Of course, same with our offense. Thank you.